We don't have to stop talking.
Maybe.
Yeah. I think the Fermi, whatever they call it, the Fermi paradox is a bunch of BS. So there's too many planets out there for there not to be intelligent life.
Yeah.
It's just impossible.
Well, the Fermi paradox isn't that there isn't any. It's that you don't see
it's
them.
Incredibly rare.
Where are they? No. Just where are they? In a universe that is 14 billion years old, and potentially with a new theory that's coming out that's talking about light that's lost its energy over time, that we could possibly be in a universe that's actually 28 billion years old. Okay.
More than likely, yeah.
Yeah, if that's the case, or even if you don't subscribe to that and you think it's infinite, then even more so, there's just like, it's so obvious that there would be other things out there that you could see over the period of time. And even more so, if you think it's 28 billion years old, or even more than that, there's even more likelihood of something cropping up before we do. Then why isn't the sky alight with this stuff? That's the Fermi paradox. It's like, where are they all?
It could be. I mean, I don't know, but it could be that the life, sentient life, I suppose to call it, started at the same time, and all those planets are at the same point we are.
Well, we could be first. There's always that possibility.
Or we could be last.
Yeah.
Or don't forget. We're not going to be last.
Don't forget.
Why wouldn't we be last?
Because there's so much more to come. The universe is going to go on for an awful long time. We won't be the last.
Everybody else could have gone before us. But
we just got bored.
We were the Australia of the Federation, is what it was. And these were criminals that were dropped off here.
Yeah, I like that one. Yeah.
Survive. Yeah.
Xantiminus.
Yeah. Come on in, folks. We see you out there. It's all right. It may be early in the morning for most of us, but
we're not completely mad, honest.
Not totally insane. Yeah. Well, they're talking about other worldly crafts now, and they're actually holding Senate hearings trying to get the Pentagon to divulge information, and they're like, no.
Good luck hearing about any of that on mainstream media, by the way.
Oh, once Hunter's deal fell through, they started talking about UFOs real quick.
Yeah.
So, hey, there's Senate hearings going on. There's people talking about aliens and biologicals and all of this stuff. Yeah.
You won't hear it on our news. They're just
ignoring it.
I saw somebody the other day, and this is by no means a dig at anybody who's religious. It's all right. I'm just describing what I saw and thought it ridiculous. They had say I think it was a GB News item, and they were talking to Damon Holmes on there. He's quite well known over here, and he's become a bit of he don't give a shit. He just says what he thinks now. Okay. Yeah. And he's been on lots and lots of mainstream media shows for a long time. And now he's on this GB News channel. Anyway, they had this guy on to talk about UFOs because they were saying that the UAP hearings are about to start. It wasn't. I didn't see it on any other channels. Okay. And to the contrary, that people that only watch GB News don't watch anything else. I watch all the channels because I like to understand what's going on from everybody. So anyway, just that little note there. So anyway, I was watching this a little bit, and we had this woman on with him, the co-presenter with Eamon Holmes, and she was very skeptical. She was like, "Oh, this is all kooky stuff," and Eamon was open-minded, saying, "Well, hold on a minute." She said, "I'm looking at this with a skeptical eye," and Eamon said, "Well, hold on a minute. Either this is true or it's not. Don't just put it down because you think it's a bit wacky." And then they finished off the piece by talking about, what about the Bible and religious books and ancient books that suggest that maybe we were visited in the past. And she went, "Oh no, that's not right." She said, "That was God and miracles."
That's completely different. Yeah.
And I just thought, what? So it's okay to believe in God and miracles, but it's not okay to believe in alien people coming here and checking us out. It's like, good God, what? What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Yeah. There's more coffee. I've got double coffee now.
There you are.
Well, what did Eamon say when she said that?
He just did the eye roll.
Say what you will, God is an extraterrestrial. So,
I'm very much a thinker that the universe messes with us quite often.
And it's like every culture has a visitation. Well, call it a myth or a legend, probably legend.
Yeah.
Even the Native Americans have that, where somebody came out of the sky and taught them how to do everything.
And they all have that flood.
Everybody has a flood, yeah.
Everyone's got a flood.
Everybody's got a flood.
Whether sometimes your washing machine goes up, tits up, and you get a flood. That sometimes feels like a biblical flood.
Giant washing machine.
Oh my God. It's all over the floor.
We're just on a spinning top. That's all.
Yeah.
That's how that works.
Here's
our opening, folks.
It's elephants all the way down.
Lizard people.
Yeah.
Lizard people.
What was that? This is not a charade. We need total concentration. Now, once again, this time, with theory.
Got to start the day off right.
Yeah.
Come on in, folks. It's time for Comics by Night. We are going to be looking at our esteemed panel minus Whiskey, who can't seem to get up anymore in the morning.
Canadians, eh?
Yeah, that's it exactly. He's probably too overwhelmed by the smoke. Toth, one for the road. It's still burning up there. They can't put the damn things out because Trudeau's too busy trying to pass progressive laws. That's just my opinion. Anyway.
Too busy. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna say it.
Toth, one for the road. After 3 weeks or 3 months of looking at Watchmen, we're going to look at Alex Toth again. This is a rare book published by AUD, A-U-A-D Publishing, who edited the book. Then introduction by Pete Millar. Not sure who that is. But this is a collection of Toth's work that he did for CarToons and DragToons magazine, where he was basically said, give us 4 pages about cars and drag strips and make it fun. So he said, I can do anything. They said, yeah, pretty much. So he's decided to cut loose. Here's the opening pages. Alex Toth, if you don't know who he is, you need to
go find out. Yeah.
Need to get a better education. Yeah. We covered his InDesign book for, 2 or 3 episodes?
Yeah.
There a few months back. And hopefully we can do this in one. So we'll see. There's the amount of stories that are in this book.
Wow. And they wanted 4.
Pardon?
And they wanted 4.
I'm not sure if it's 4 or 6. It's one of those.
Either way.
Forward again, the intro. Somebody keeps buzzing me. That's weird. Why are you doing that at 5 a.m?
It's probably Whiskey saying, where the hell is it?
Oh, I need to go through and change.
Have you thought about life insurance, sir?
Yeah, my extended car warranty.
Yeah. No, it'll say there's £900 has been taken from your bank account from press this button if you want to cancel.
They better not. Yeah.
That's the one we get.
I get the phone calls. Hello, I understand you're the homeowner. I understand you need to get stuffed. Click. Brr.
There we are. We are now public for everyone. Oh, there's a couple of messages here. Oh, Russ sent me a message.
That was
Glenn sent me a thumbs up. Oh, you sent me a photo. Look at that. Holy crap. Oh, man. If my eyes were younger and better, I'd be begging to ink that. Look at that library. That's amazing. Anyway.
I'm really looking. I'm really enjoying this.
We'd like to, but we can't see it.
I know. I'll show it to you.
Show it later.
Either.
Yeah.
I'll show it to you either today or Sunday.
We've got Toth to see now.
We've got Toth to see now. Yeah. Much more important. One for the road. I believe this was 2000 and I have to look at it closer. Sorry.
So when was the work done? It was published in 2000, wasn't it?
This was published in 2000. Yep.
So is that when the work was done?
Color cover by Mark Chiarello. No, this was done back in the 80s, I think.
Right.
Maybe late 70s. I'm looking for a date here. Forward, when I first approached Pete Millar to discuss an idea I had nurtured for years, I was pleasantly surprised to find he felt the same way about it. And that was to bind all of the pages that Alex Toth drew for Pete's publications in the early 60s into a book. Here's an aspect of Alex Toth's art that a lot of his fans might have missed unless they were into hot rods or were even aware existed. So we both felt that publishing this book was not only necessary, but the right thing to do. I was fortunate to be able to shoot some of the pages from the originals. We are all well acquainted with many stories Alex Toth had illustrated through the years, from westerns to romance, to science fiction and horror. They were all great. Fans dreamed to collect them all. But strange as it seems, few, if any, editors Alex worked for in his career seem to realize that there is an artist with another side, his humorous side. Working for Pete and his car magazine was the perfect vehicle, no pun intended, for Alex Toth. His love of cars and airplanes is well documented, and it's obvious he had fun doing these pages. It shows. Those of us who grew up owning a hot rod as teens will surely appreciate the memories these pages will bring back. Then again, you may not appreciate it, or you may just appreciate it for the humor and a great artwork by one of comics legends. Thank you, Pete Millar, who had the foresight to recognize and realize Alex's potential as a humorist. Because of this, we are now privileged to see Toth's funny bone. Yeah. I think that was whiskey coming in. And you are now live.
Morning.
Whiskey, how are you doing?
We're just getting into the start of the book.
Oh, good.
You missed our extraterrestrial discussion.
Oh, damn.
The woohoo chat. Yeah.
I didn't even realize it was 18 minutes past. I was just like, oh, crap.
Chapter 1, Baron von Roth, Knight of the Air, Surfside Saga, Go, the Alamo, Word to the Wise, and Art Airfare. So here we are. Baron von Roth, Knight of the Air.
Damn. Look at that art.
Tribute to Big Daddy Roth. This is Alex Toth. Rat Fink. All done, I believe, in wash. Nope, dual shade board. That's what that is. Dual shade work. Hand lettered. Just because Glenn likes it.
Everything he does just looks so slick.
Yeah.
Isn't it? It's just amazing.
Look at the planes, like the perspective on those wings and how just like.
Oh, he was
almost,
a big airplane and auto nut. So that's why he got this gig. We'll cover his Bravo for Adventure one of these days. That's a air pilot who goes off on different adventures, has a biplane, travels around. Look at that.
Poka, poka, poka. Rat, taka, taka, taka. They cry, aren't they? As you just touched on there, Randy, I can never understand why people don't have a try at doing the hand lettering.
Yeah.
Because that's not perfect by any means, but it's brilliant. And it fits in with the artwork.
It's got its own charm, without a doubt.
That's like we were talking about Dave Gibbons over the weeks. His lettering fits his work, and what a great gig he got, and they awarded him to do the lettering, to make all the artwork his. And this is what this is doing as well.
I'm seeing it's definitely a dual shade pattern here.
Yeah,
there's the lighter chemical, the darker chemical, giving you two shades.
Dual shade? What are we talking about?
Dual shade artboard used to be a artboard that you would draw on that in light blue had two sets of patterns to it. One a light. Sometimes it's cross hatching. Sometimes it's dots. But you would also have two chemicals that were toxic. That they didn't think about carcinogens back then. That you could literally use to paint on. And you would paint the lower chemical on and get the lighter shade here, and the harder chemical on and get the darker shade. You'd usually apply that before you did the inks, depending upon the type of ink that you were using.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
It's flying upside down there. He said, "Hey, you think I've got it now, but they're not doing so hot." And he's upside down.
Just great stuff.
So I kind of missed the intro there, but he stole a plane, right?
Say what?
He stole that plane, right? I missed the lead up
Yeah, he
to
just
it.
came up to it.
Yeah. Oh,
Von
okay.
Roth Hein. Never heard of you. Yeah, he kind of walks in and takes it. It's Big Daddy Roth.
I think he's just walking past when the officer sees him.
Yeah,
Thinks he's a pilot.
just strolls past. The bent body there. It's
Takes
amazing.
off.
Just waddles
I
in.
don't know how to fly, but I gotta try.
Yeah.
Look at him going up straight up as well.
Yeah.
That's great. In the second panel there.
Wow.
And a rat
like
tat for you.
It's like a Mad Magazine type of thing, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. Well, cartoons, DragToons were all humor comic pages like this. An occasional article talking about your hot rod. You never see those at comic shows at all. At least
No.
I haven't seen them in a long time, where you see somebody offering an issue of cartoons or DragToons.
This is like way ahead of its time, if you think. Because on that fourth panel it says, "But too late, the two Fockers crash into each other." That's what Dustin Hoffman was playing with, wasn't it? In that film, those films he made with the Fockers in. Meet the Fockers.
Meet the Fockers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that a type of plane too, right?
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. The
biplane. Yeah.
Yeah. And a triplane.
Just like a triplane. Yeah, just like these guys are flying. It almost looks like Toth there.
Yeah. The dunce's cap on.
That's a goofy like witch's hat. It's mod for back then. RF stands for Rat Fink, which is a big character in drag and racing. If you remember all of those drawings they did with the monster that has the big bulging eyes and the cartoon, it looks cartoony where they're sitting in the smaller car with the stick shift in their hand.
Yeah.
That's all.
Oh yeah. I've seen those.
Rat Fink style illustrations. Yeah.
They tossed those in a bunch of car magazines. I remember my father collecting a lot of.
That's where all of these came from. DragToons and cartoons.
Was it a lot of them? Were a lot of them different artists or just?
Oh yeah.
Well, okay.
Yeah, different artists. They paid different people to do stuff.
Just go back a page, Randy, please. If you look at the German speaking, like that Donnerwetter there, and the I have you in the sights. That's the kind of stuff that we got in the British comics, and it's sort of where you learn your first German words, like Gott in Himmel and all that kind of stuff. Real stereotypes, you know.
They had that here too, especially during the war. Yeah.
It's the same time, isn't it? So it's yeah, it's brilliant.
That's how you got the accent down.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. I have you in the sights.
Yeah. Get that up the nose shot. Nothing is beyond this guy. Just crazy. Even though he's got a big schnoz too. He's got right there, right up the nostrils. Gets zapped back to modern time.
The worm's eye view is a power move when done correctly.
On to surfing. Big Daddy and Surfside Saga. He's got Bob Billy. Anyway.
those lines on the sea there are real Simonson, aren't they? That's the kind of thing he does.
Yeah.
Wow.
Really done on a pen point. Done in a hurry, too. I would imagine he was kicking a story out every couple of days.
Yeah, interesting how he's done the word balloon with that black line coming from them.
Yeah.
You know, rather than continue the tale.
He's playing, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Something you notice from this, like this is really simple stuff as far as the amount of rendering lines. There's big shapes. I mean, look at that top right-hand panel. There's very few lines in that, and you get exactly what you need. But it's a masterclass in showing the minimal amount in order to get the maximum over.
Yeah, that's
just seeing the body language, the weight in the bodies, the anatomy, the way those people are diving there, and the fact that he's got them slightly at different angles. No, the other panel where they're diving.
Yeah, and how
that is just incredible. You can see the motion as well as him swimming, and also the belly as well. It's just brilliant.
The way he's playing with the light as well, because you can't see trunks against the black sea.
Yeah, and he's not afraid to just fill in.
And he's just drawing shapes, isn't he? Like you said.
Yeah, absolutely amazing.
And that thick line around that surfboard on the first panel's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Complete masterclass there.
Yep. Little guy here.
Masterclass in 2 pages. Just incredible.
Yeah.
And like you say about the economy of line, you don't need much.
No.
And I recently encountered an artist that was the exact opposite, where he just, throwing everything down and didn't say anything.
Yeah. Well, this comes from many years of animation work too. This is late 60s. He's already done Space Ghost at this time and designed all of that stuff that not all of it, but most of it that we saw in the InDesign book.
Yeah, I mean, there's no harm in putting lots of detail in and putting lots of texture in. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's got its place. I'm doing that at the moment. But it's what's underneath it that counts, which is why when you see someone like John Buscema and you see so many different people ink him, including himself, you see different styles come over, but you always see John Buscema's pencils underneath. Even when he was doing very loose stuff, you see it. Just in the way that figures stand, the way that they motion, the body language. It's all that's the important stuff.
And don't forget though that you should tip your hat to the inkers for allowing it as well, because it would be easy to blot it out, because some inkers do, don't they?
Yeah.
They do, yeah. But there's so many inkers that that have gone over the top of Buscema, and you just see him shining through every time. Yeah. And that doesn't take away from the inker's abilities to be an artist either.
That's right. We've said before about Alcala inking Buscema.
Yeah.
I mean, if anybody could be accused of rendering too much, it would be Alfredo Alcala. But it's beautiful, isn't it?
It's beautiful. I mean, I know that Buscema himself wasn't that keen on it, but I mean, I can happily consume an Alcala Conan or a Sinnott Fantastic Four.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? And they're both equal in my mind. One took a hell of a lot longer to produce than the other. It doesn't matter. They're both equal in my mind, because it's not about how much detail is down. It's about how it flows and how good it is. Yep. And you can excel in the detail. You can enjoy the detail. And I'm fully planned. I'm doing this Cull stuff. We're doing this Legend stuff. With Arrow. All right, that's going to be my detailed stuff. Yeah. I'll go away and do something simple afterwards. And that's the key. And you look at people like Toth, and you can see it's what's underneath. I mean, look, just all the movement, even the fact that this is quite cartoony and quite exaggerated. There's still beautiful movement underneath it, and people often get that wrong, especially when they're doing, rubber hose arms and legs and stuff, and they just think, "Oh, I can do anything." No, you've still got to fool the mind into the motion. Yeah,
not afraid to lay down those motion lines.
Oh no. Yeah.
Especially in the key areas.
Bouncy boobs there.
Yeah. Little bounce. Yeah.
He's panting there.
Yeah, he is.
That's funny.
Great silhouette here. People dancing. See Big Daddy there with
The best silhouette was on the previous page with the surfboards all stuck in the sand. If you just go back,
Yeah, that was cool.
You'll see it.
Lovely. That's so cool.
That's fantastic.
Just amazing.
Again, says so much for so little.
Simplicity.
Yeah.
That's what Toth was known for, was his simplicity.
Completely, people, and nowadays you see a lot of stuff. It's completely underrated.
Yeah. I think the main thing that we all agree on here is the fact that this guy can just draw, can't he?
Yeah.
You know, whatever line he's doing, whatever he can draw, and it's the same with all the greats like Kirby and Buscema and Ditko and Romita. They have a different style, but they can all draw.
They can all draw. Yeah. Yeah, and that's that. You know, we were having a discussion about AI yesterday. It's like that's the point. That's, you want to see people draw. You want that. You don't want everything to be the same. Mm-hmm. You don't want everything to be perfect either, because a perfect world is a dull world.
Yep.
You know, it's you want the stretching and the ridiculousness, and that as an artist, that's something you fight, because you know certainly I've had that trouble. It's like you're kind of looking for perfection, and that's not what you should be trying to do at all. And but it is a sort of it's inbuilt. You want to draw and you want to create and you want to make things that people recognize, and so you're striving for this kind of accuracy to the real world, and it's sometimes difficult to see. You lose yourself in it. Whereas when you show your work to other people, they're like, "Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's vibrant. That's it." And you're thinking, "No, but that bit's wrong." And it's like, "No, it's not wrong." Sorry, I was just finished. There is an objective wrong, okay, when things stick out and you go, right, that doesn't work, okay. But for the most part, it's about impressionism. Yeah,
exactly. The two great panels on that page there. One where the beach parties panel, which we can see what's going on. But the best one is the next panel. Look at the expression on that face.
Which one?
The middle panel. That one, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Look at the expression on that face, like we said, with minimal line.
Very minimal. Lettering.
It's fabulous.
Hootenannies. Blowing in the wind. Yelling here. Another up and down.
Get him, moralist creep. Deck him, rat fink.
Party pooper.
Bam, wet pal.
Great panel.
It's funny how all these people who, like this guy here, you know, telling them they're all wrong and they shouldn't be doing what they're doing after he's done it.
Yes,
which is what people do, isn't it? They go party and they say, "Oh, you shouldn't do that. I didn't get anything from it." Well, you did it for 15 years, you know. So
this that bottom right panel with the car in the midair, that's just fantastic.
Yeah.
Those boards would come out, wouldn't they?
Well, the car wouldn't be in midair. It's just ridiculous. It's fabulous, so cartoony, so Warner Brothers or Hanna-Barbera or whatever. It's so brilliant.
It's all stuff that most people would just take for granted.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, actually, because this is great.
On to the next one.
I wasn't sure what to expect because I actually wasn't familiar with Toth stuff, and then
now the story is Big Daddy.
Look at that.
Every page is a letter that's spelled.
How good is that? I'm about to steal that idea.
Daddy.
Hold on, go. Oh wow, it's an exercise in design as well. What's he written in the back?
With a story inside. Yeah.
What's that? He's written. Is it Toth?
It's just Toth, isn't it? Toth. Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Oh, Roth.
Probably Roth because it's Big Daddy Roth.
Yeah. Roth.
This is beautiful.
That is a real mad spread, isn't it?
Yeah. Whoosh. Going.
It's genius. Just genius.
Sword fighting here.
Look at the thickness of those lines. You can imagine the brush he used on that. I bet he did it in one, just right around. Yeah.
Oh, we have somebody in the chat.
That's probably a large brush.
Yeah. Although those corners are nice and sharp.
Vic, glad you're here.
Good
We're
morning.
looking at Alex Toth's One for the Road. Big Daddy. Just a great little story tucked in there.
And then just
Go ahead.
just is that the end of the story, or
No,
Nice.
it's big. DADD.
okay, continues.
5 pages. Yeah. More duo shade here.
I like the way he does joins the words like "let me hear it" and "let me out" as one word.
Let me
Gonna.
The way people speak, yeah.
That's fantastic.
goes into the future and meets a robot.
Be great having those 5 pages framed on your wall.
Yeah.
Oh. Somebody has.
Yeah, somebody has. Yeah,
There's the why.
look at that.
You know what you can
It's
do?
crazy.
I'm gonna watch Russ's head explode, but you can use upscaling to take these images and then just blow them up, right? With AI.
I don't understand what you mean.
So you can take an image with a lower resolution like this, right? Like a smaller image, and then increase the resolution, like using AI to increase the resolution, thus increasing the size of the image without losing any of the detail.
I don't understand what you mean.
Well, the idea being that you could then
we don't
print
know
them
why
out
you
and
would
put
do
them on
that.
your wall.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So you can get a poster of this without
Without having the original artwork.
Well, you could just do that with an ordinary scan. You don't need AI.
It's filling in detail. That's the trouble. It becomes very pixelated as you get it. That's the problem with.
All depends
filling
upon
in.
the DPI that you scan it in at.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but if it's low res, that would be why you would use an AI application in order to fill that in.
If you scan it in at 1200 DPI, you could probably knock it out 3 times, 4 times the size.
But of course, the problem with that is it would be filled in by AI. So I would have to come and murder you.
See, there's the head exploding.
Beatles here. Big Daddy again pointing in. Big Daddy's word to the wise. Look at that lettering. I love that lettering. I tried to do the same kind of thing for Lindy Jax's logo. Same basic look. It's a character I have. It's in calico. More planes. Yes.
Trains and automobiles.
There's the Beatles. It's old people.
Yeah, but he's made a mistake, hasn't he? He's made the big mistake.
Huh.
Paul McCartney's left-handed.
If it's the original Paul McCartney, of course.
Exactly.
Well, I think they both were. Billy Shears was, and so was Paul. So
No. Yeah, no. What I mean is there's that theory, isn't it, that Paul McCartney isn't real, that he's a replacement.
Yeah,
he died in a car accident.
Yeah, Billy Shears.
Is it? I don't know, but is Billy Shears supposedly the replacement?
Yeah.
Oh right, okay. I didn't know the name. Right,
he's a shape-shifting lizard person.
He's a lizard.
He's a person. He was a person. Billy Shears was a person who was the same age, looked exactly the same, could sing the same, play the same, write the same, and be the same.
And he's mentioned on Sgt. Pepper's.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, that's just. I love things like that.
Yeah, said by many greats before me. Yeah, that's right, Vic. Airfare.
Was that when they were 64? Do you think?
Yes,
probably.
They look a bit older than 64. Although back in 1964, okay, people of 64 look like that.
Yeah,
yeah.
People definitely don't look as old as they used to look. I think I'll say that. I think people aged sooner. First off, it's probably a much harsher life.
Exactly right.
But also just the way that people dressed, you became conservative much younger.
Yeah, it was the fashion, because if you look at those guys in the First World War, all 20, they look like they're about 50, don't they?
That's right.
That's
yeah. Moustaches. That's what does it.
And short hair.
We talked about some of that stuff earlier, like carcinogens and like sun exposure and like all that kind of stuff is just going to add up over the years.
Yeah.
Like back in the day, they had incredibly poor understanding of all of health, I guess, compared to what we have now.
Vic is in the chat. I hate to break it to you, but Paul McCartney never existed. He was always a lizard person. Also, skincare was non-existent. Yeah. This is great. You have to identify him by having him wear a shirt with his name on it. Big Daddy Rock. Little quick one pager for him. No gray tones, just ink work. Drawing what he loves. Little biplanes all over.
Do you suppose if we, or a little sidetrack here, but do you suppose if we went further back, like in the 60s, that people would look even older earlier? Or was there like, you think there's like some kind of...
I think there's an offset point where people died earlier.
That's true too, yeah.
You go back like 500 years and people probably didn't last much past 40.
Yeah, it's because of what you said about the conditions. Because I can remember when I was a kid, up the smog because of the coal fires, and as soon as they cut the coal fires out, it disappeared, never came back.
Although because you talk about like maybe even further back in time, back past the Bronze Age, back into Stone Age, they would only last 30 odd years. There is actually some new evidence that suggests that they lasted, in some cases, an awful lot longer than that. And that modern age increments have only occurred in the last sort of, 1,000 years as we've got, as slowly as Western or general society has got better and people have got healthier lives. But prior to that, before we had sort of civilization, as it were, people were living on berries and they went and caught their meat and what have you, and it meant that actually they had quite in some cases quite a substantial life. Simply probably because of the carcinogens and all the rest of the crap that are involved in a modern life.
Well, don't forget
modern farming. Go ahead.
Yeah, but don't forget if you believe such things, you go look in the Bible and they all lived to be 800 years old. So
well, that's right, but they were all lizard people.
Hundreds of years old.
They were all lizard people.
Yeah, Moses was hundreds of. Abraham was hundreds of years old. Yeah,
lizard.
We actually covered this particular topic that Russ was talking about in anthropology when I was in high school. They talked about when we got into, I think it's called agrarian farming, livestock farming, villages and stuff like that. Instead of being hunter-gatherers, our life expectancy went down, and a lot of that was due to the water supply. Right, you get enough people in one area, right, polluting the water, then with human runoff without any sort of idea of sanitation, eventually you get clean water when you can, but it's you get like a bunch of people together, right, eventually the water is going to get contaminated.
Well, okay, then answer this question.
Answer me this, Batman.
Answer me this question, right? I'm not saying that's not true, but I think it's answer me this question. Sure. Why are we not all dead for 10,000 years?
Not like you would still live. It's just like it'd be parts per billion, right? Like if you drink a little bit of waste, you'll survive, but it's not gonna be great for your kidneys.
Yeah, it's all about longevity. That's because that's what we're talking about here. It's longevity over a long period of time. How does it bring down the average age of death effectively?
I think
I'm sorry, you're all wrong. It's all the preservatives in the food.
It depends on your constitution, because Helen's dad is 100 in September, and he's been through a world war, being self-employed all his life, with a business, and drinking more pints than anybody who ever walked the earth.
Smirking,
and he's 100 in September.
Those are always the people that live the longest, though. Are the individuals, and the one that they ask them they ask these people who are 106, 108. What's the secret to longevity? They go, lots of drinking, lots of cigars,
lots of sex,
blow everything else up.
There was a guy in the 70s.
All the health nuts die early.
The guy I read about in the 70s, he lived in Peru, and they have those like where they grow the crops on those steps on the mountains. You've seen those? Well, this guy was at the time was the oldest person in the world. He was 115.
Yeah, and
his son was 95. Right, and his son was 75. And what they used to do, they'd be running up and down those steps doing the work, making the food, growing the food. And he used to drink 90% alcohol and drink, what I would Russell know, the Woodbine cigarettes, which were like 100% tobacco, and he'd have 60 fags a day.
Yeah, but that's the whole point. 100% tobacco.
That's cigarettes to us.
Yeah, but 100% tobacco.
Yeah.
No filters.
Just saying.
No filters.
No preservatives in the cigarettes.
Nothing in it. It's literally just
exactly right. Yeah.
Just pure.
Yeah,
just pure.
Yeah.
But that's what Keith Richards said, wasn't it? They asked him how he's lasted so long, and he said the drugs that he's had were always good.
Lizard.
We're always pure.
Anyway. Always pure.
Keith is definitely a lizard.
But I guess to kind of circle back with that, you're talking about the old man in living to it's a far cry from hunter gatherers to to old farming, like the first civilizations that started farming and animal husbandry to to World War, like obviously the medicine had it at some point increased, right? Like during the medieval ages, for example, you had like the Black Plagues, right? Like for just as one example, our immune systems obviously got better adapted to the environment as well over time. So there's
multiple factors involved. Of course there is.
HR in the house. Watch your.
It also depends whether the Romans were coming through and cut your head off while they were doing.
Oh, what have the Romans ever given us, eh?
They gave us drank 3 Dr. Peppers a day and lived to 100. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, what the Romans ever give us.
They gave us Psycho's Norman Bates' house on there, didn't they?
Yeah, master. Yep.
Look at that pumpkin laughing at you. Look at this, fantastic.
Oh my God.
Pablo Escobar is definitely a lizard person. It's the only reason he didn't OD after all that partying.
Didn't stop those bullets though, did it?
Cool, HR.
Yeah. I tell you what, he drew this one quick, because as much as there's all that detail in that house, look at all those silhouettes on the right hand page.
You spent 3 weeks on the house. Oh damn! I need to put it in tomorrow. Yeah.
Oh, look at that guy laughing up there. It's like a Muppet.
Yeah.
That's classic. It's just a head.
It looks like a guy on the right.
Looks like the same kids that were on the beach. Yeah.
If you put a little zip thing on that guy on the right, it's Zippy.
Yes, Zippy. Yeah. Oh, Bungle. Bungle, be quiet.
I drew a strip for that once.
Oh, did you?
Nightmare, yeah. Nightmare. You get everybody coming at you from the TV saying, "What about that? His ear's not right." And,
God, nightmare! It's like all it is. It's a circle with a zip for a mouth. For God's sake!
They said he hasn't got any ears.
The kids are gonna understand. They're gonna recognize it. All right, if you color it right, put the zip on, then they're gonna know who it is.
Oh dear!
All the cars are touching the ground here.
Oh yeah, they're off the ground. Yeah, all of them off the ground. Yeah.
Just to tell you, Russ, I wrote a story about Zippy and Bungle and submitted it, and they thought it was great, except for one thing. I had them hiding from the guy, and they went to the park on their own, and it was rejected. And they got into trouble and all this kind of these little adventures and got back, and they rejected it because they wouldn't have gone on their own.
Oh my God, they would never have gone anywhere without Jeffrey. Jeffrey is their handler.
Quick page there.
I think that Zippy and Bungle are probably in the witness protection scheme.
I think the lizard people.
From the lizard people.
From the lizard people, yeah.
Just this. Look at this. Look how simple it is.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's a creek slam. Yeah.
Just that panel there with the shadow and the door opening.
Yeah.
Top right. I mean, God, it just makes you cry, doesn't it?
I think he's picked up that Wally Wood 22 panel thing, hasn't he? When he saw this, that the top left there, it said if you can, put a silhouette in and stuff like that.
It's probably more the reverse. Wood picked a lot of this stuff up. From
look at the way he's creating. So before we saw that amazing layout where he did the Big Daddy and just incredible layout, and now he's gone back to a 6-panel layout.
Yeah.
With wonderful work, and then he's creating visual dynamics as far as the layout is concerned, not what's in the panels, with all the lettering.
Yeah.
Just brilliant.
Clank. Just awesome.
Bump.
Yeah.
Mr. Ghosty.
And again, just quick lines. I don't even think he used a ruler on any of this.
God, no.
Doesn't look like it.
Rulers are for wimps.
He's just knocking it out. Oh, well, he ruled the panel borders at least.
It's really impressive.
Clump, 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 clump.
Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah. What's more like Planet of the Apes? With that widow's peak.
And he's got the bolts on the neck. The Dracula widow's peak,
I love these silhouettes that he's doing, like the far shot with the horizon, and it's fantastic.
Oh, brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what's he done? Has he killed him? What's happened? Hey, Bobo, Juju.
Midnight, let's go back to the house and scare the ex-planet out of old Graham. Nah, he's cool. We'll pick him up
in the AM.
In the AM.
So they've left. So they've left him there then, and that guy is real.
Yeah, Graham wasn't there in the AM, so he didn't make the club. If any weirdos come and knocking at your pad door, Halloween, cool it. It may be Graham, and install
ugly chum
and his tall, ugly chum. Yeah. And here's what is that? A 6-handed roach?
He's got Jack Davis shoes on.
Get away, Gertie. Yeah. Well, those were pretty popular back then.
It's a spider.
Yeah.
It is a spider. Okay. Look at them great cars. Just strong. But he had it. I bet that was his joy right there, sitting there and just drawing that out. How fantastic is that? Chicago, 1925.
There's no mistakes on that car at all. Like even look at the window. Look at on the right panel. Yeah. Right. You can see the window goes all the way through to the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, he clearly took a photograph of a car from the front and he's like, okay, this is exactly what it looks like.
Well, on some of this, I would imagine Toth drew out of his head.
For sure.
A lot of this stuff is just kicked out, just done to get it done. And so he wasn't getting paid a lot. So he was getting, it's just like Ditko working for Charlton back in the 60s. He did it because he had the freedom to do it and did it fast enough so that the page rate would actually pay some bills. Because he was kicking so much of the material out at once. Because look, this had to have been probably these 2 pages at least in the day, if not the entire story. Because he's just cranking it here, and he's having a blast too. Because you can tell from the cartooniness of it all, just the looseness of it. Just here, show he's got a bulletproof glass window, just phenomenal.
That bottom left panel looks like reference, doesn't it?
Right here, yeah, it does. But they look so natural bending over that engine too.
Yeah, that Scarface guy in the middle.
And he went on a couple of years after this to do Torpedo, which was a big, was it French or Italian strip about a mobster assassin that has a lot of this type motif only straight drama, no humor in it at all. We'll probably look at that at one point or another. Look at that panel. Just
it's the car talking, isn't it?
Done. Yeah, Gertie.
Those faces. Sorry, I'm back in the room. That's just. I like also the lack of key lines around some of the panels.
Yeah. I like that guy there, Scarface guy on the left. I like his suit, the way that just the pinstripe suit just lines out, just loose, and that shirt he's got, it's fantastic.
Yeah,
with a little guy with his dicky bow. Do you call him dicky bows, Randy? Dicky bow. Or do you just call it a bow tie?
That's not. Yeah, just bow tie.
Right.
You can hear them sort of talking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. See.
Yeah. See. Yeah.
It's weird though that, like, you know, back then they used slang, but it's almost like the language back then, their portrayal of it in media, because I'm not 100% sure if it's accurate, but the portrayal in media is kind of slang itself. Like the language is slang, not the word usage, but how they talked. You know, it was weird. You don't really see it again. Something similar in history.
Weird to us now. I mean, everybody's got their dialect in there. Everybody's dialect evolves.
Listen to how everybody spoke in the 1930s in English films.
Yeah.
If you any of you ever get a chance to see Harry Enfield skits on that kind of thing. So he used to do fake information films like Women Know Your Place and things like that, where just hideous films about where a woman would start talking about something at a party and to be like, you don't need to talk about that kind of thing. You should be talking about kittens.
It goes down well now, doesn't it?
Oh, brilliant! Oh, but it's so obviously the idea is it's funny. You know, it's ridiculous. It's brilliant.
It can't be funny, Russ. You're not allowed to
highlighting the misogyny of the ages, and it's just excellent stuff. But of course, he does things like old films as well, and like people had come in. So actors back in the day, you didn't have regional actors in the way that you have now.
Yeah.
So they'd have somebody come in. They'd be talking very posh. So like we're coming up north from down south because we're Cockneys. And it just like the whole thing would be just stupid voices because everybody who was acting was posh, even though they were playing regional accents. Just so if you get a chance to see any of that stuff, it's quite enlightening. And sometimes like some of the accents that they do are actually quite representational of the time. For instance, newsreaders and that kind of thing.
I was just looking at a meme recently. I'm looking for it now, but allegedly, a lot of the
it's all slang. See, you understand?
You understand? See,
the what's it called? The Cthulhu stories.
Yeah, another gold company. Yeah.
What's it called?
Cthulhu.
Yeah, the Cthulhu stories. The
HR. What's his name? Who wrote Cthulhu?
Allegedly,
Lovecraft.
Lovecraft.
The Lovecraftian stories.
HP,
allegedly, a lot of them took place near Boston. So when you actually like reimagining, thinking about it, nobody thinks about it in a Bostonian accent, but it if you placed it correctly, the people, they would be speaking like, oh, now it's an eldritch hair from across,
mid-Atlantic accent. Yeah, awful.
Sorry, I'm climbing up the chat here. HR, that requires a lot of companies play nice. Sorry, we probably need to jump up farther here. I got that book. Yeah, I've shown that one. Silhouette, a mania, brother. Yeah. HR says, why doesn't they publish all the gold key stuff he did? It would buy it so fast. Yeah, well, they're afraid there's no market for it. HR. And some of that stuff has been reprinted almost privately in small runs, very much like this book here. It's such a small publishing run that a lot of people have no idea it even exists. So like I've got a collection of his Toth Zorro material that he did for Gold Key or for Dell and Gold Key. That's just amazing. It's one of the high points of his career because of all the love that's poured into it. The HR that requires lots of companies to play nice, and they don't do that well. No, they don't. Yeah, but they don't get no money doing nothing too. Well, that's true. Glenn's got a story about Avengers artwork that's like that. It's like Kirby's 2001. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. They're all arguing over copyrights instead of putting it out and letting us enjoy it, and they can argue in the court.
Yeah, that's because they don't care.
Yeah.
I'm ashamed to be up in the AM when I don't have school. Yeah. Well, that's why you don't get 2000 AD archive editions, which are so desperately needed. You know, they needs to be collected so that folks can see what the books look like when they were originally out. Instead, they have to chop them up by property because they have to track down rights per property, because that's the way that the rights went back then.
I so wish I had all my copies.
It took them until the the 90s, early 90s to change that. And then as soon as they did, 2000 AD dropped right through the floor in quality.
I've got a box of 2000 ADs in the loft. I should have looked to see what I've got.
Oh, mate, give it
I've not opened it for, I don't know, 40 years. 35 years.
I had the first 100. I had the first couple, like I think 250 even, except for issue 1, Prague 1. Oh. I had them all, and I sold them because I had to have insurance.
Yeah.
I love that Ditko Charlton stuff. I own a bunch of the horror, and it's good. Yes, it's good. It's solid work, and it's like this. It's done so fast by these guys who have been doing it for so many years. It's instinctive at this point, and that it's incredibly good. Toth quick after like 5 strips for some reason or another, I think. Not sure what quick you mean there.
I think it means quit.
Toth quit?
Yeah.
For some reason or another, I think. Yeah. Well, Toth was a curmudgeon, and he never did it for the money. He did it more for the just to do it.
I love that word, curmudgeon.
If he couldn't get along with you, he didn't do it. So nice, love Ditko's stuff. Yeah, Charlton is another gold company. Charlton is a very interesting company, just like Fawcett Publishing. There was supposed to be a documentary on Charlton come out here. Somebody was trying to crowdfund it, but they really need to do one on Charlton or on Fawcett Publishing as well, because that company was just crazy. Harvey too. Harvey was in all of those. Harvey characters are insane. You go back and look at them now; they're all so non-PC. It's not even funny. It's all slang.
What's the guy from? I can't remember his name. The dude from Suicide Squad, with the weird helmet and eagle.
Peacemaker. Yeah,
Peacemaker. He's. I'm looking at the Charlton stuff, 1960. There's a image of him.
Yeah, he was a very serious strip back then.
Huh. I did not know.
Yeah, he used to go around espionage stuff. If you watch the first season of Peacemaker 2, there's a little character in there, Judo Master. Judo Master was a big character back for Charlton back in the 60s and 70s. And he wore a obviously Japanese stereotype yellow and red outfit.
Judo chop.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, I see it. It's the sun.
With a little sunburst. Yeah. Yeah, I understand why they changed it over to green. Toth's always inventing, doing something new, breaking the stagnation in the medium. That's because he got bored. So you go look at the Jack Cole Plastic Mans. It's the same thing. He's telling a story, and he's like, oh, I got to tell a story. So he started doing all sorts of crazy, inventive things, especially with Plastic Man, in order to get along in the composition. H.P. Lovecraft, the raging racist scumbag. Yeah, well, it's a product of his time.
I didn't know he was.
It's amazing.
It doesn't mean his writing. Sorry, Whiskey. It doesn't mean his writing was bad, though, does it?
Yeah,
whatever
I think you have to separate artist and art.
Yeah.
And
Sorry, well, what were you saying?
Oh, I didn't know he was racist.
Yeah, well, apparently, yeah.
A little more racist than most during that time.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a racist time. That's
a lot of people look down on the minorities.
Yeah,
or the different cultures in general always got stereotyped and picked on back then because there was no empathy for that kind of thing. We were a big melting pot, and if you were here, you were picked on.
People are also ignorant of. I mean, it's easy to be scared of what you don't know, and
that's true too. Yeah.
You know, it was like that in the UK as far as people being ignorant of other people's ways of life and all the rest of it. And then, of course, with England to a degree, there was a bit of arrogance about it as well. And you know, it all gets melted in. And the point is that people are going to be people, and some people are going to be more extreme. You know, and just because of that doesn't mean that you just ignore everything that they've ever done. You know, you don't need to celebrate their personal opinions, but if they made something good, they made something good. You know.
I think you do need to understand the context and the time period that it was written in the person himself. So you go back and look at those early Tarzans. There's a lot of, you know, Tarzan sees the dark-skinned natives in Africa as lower than him.
Yeah.
Until he gets an education, and then everybody's equal.
Yeah.
But also during the time too, you would have like
then he thought humans were hairless and you know, morons. So
like prejudice during the time, or the particularly, and when we didn't have the internet at quite as, you know, or a lot of access to it, prejudice wasn't limited to race. Like it was, you know, they ain't
still
around
isn't
here. Yeah,
still isn't. Yeah,
still isn't. No,
it's a little less now, but because people, you know, talk to their buddy in, like, you know, Japan, and they, you know, play a game together.
I would say from an older person's perspective, because I have a theory that maybe you're a lot younger than me. From an older person, you'd be surprised. But from an older person's perspective, I would suggest that we kind of got a lot of it. Certainly in the UK, I felt that we went a long way in the 90s.
Yeah.
We were a long way on without the internet. And in some ways, the internet has made it worse.
Well, we tried to go a long way in the late 60s and 70s, you know, but then disco came along. So
disco, it's all down to disco. It's a lizard invention.
Just tore it apart. Yeah.
The lizard people made disco. That's
disco in country.
Well, maybe not the country. Maybe that's the aliens.
Boyette, that's you're thinking of, I think, there. You guys seen the Charlton Neo Company? I'm not sure what you're talking about there, but there are still people out there doing. Yeah, there you are, Boyette. There are still people out there doing Charlton work, using some of those characters. Judah Master's outfit was orange and yellow. His sidekick was red or white and red. Yeah. Yep. Says he's like another level to even for his time. Yeah. I like Toth's line, cleanness. Bob Oxner too. Yeah. Oxner did a lot of the female oriented material over at he had such a tender style to his stuff, did a lot of Supergirl, did a lot of the romance title stuff. A little bit of Jimmy Olsen, I believe. It's clean as Oxner too. Here we are. You guys are all old to me. Don't worry. Well, yeah. All right, Vic. Thanks for that. More gangster stuff, yeah.
I'm reasonably sure I'm the
youngest.
You are definitely the youngest here, Whiskey.
I was born in the 80s.
Yeah. Quite a long way then.
You're young enough to be my kid.
Yeah. It's okay. I still got gray in my beard. I'm not behind.
Look at that, scars all over.
Isn't it funny how everybody's against racism and prejudice, but ageism rocks on?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, constantly. Yeah.
You're slightly younger than I am, you bastard.
It really drives me crazy when the big villain is always the bald guy, too. Just pisses me off. Bad guy's always at it. The roughneck asshole has to be bald.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I suffer a lot from that. People make
roughneck assholiness.
Yeah. I'm a complete asshole. A lot of people get the wrong impression about me just because of the way I look.
Yeah. Well, you know, since I started losing my hair when I was 25, people always pointed it out, and I just used to say, "Well, at least I could have been ugly."
Yeah.
And they don't know how to answer that.
Yeah.
You kept your hair 10 years longer than I did. So I've got a senior picture with a comb over.
I had two older
and
brothers.
It's wavy too, which is really bad and funny. So
I still have my hair.
Oh, well, you can leave.
Don't rub it in.
I had two older brothers and a dad to see where I was going to go.
My father.
Everybody in my family on both sides. It was just done. Yeah. So I've never made a big deal about trying to get a toupee or nothing. It's just the hair I got, and that's the hair that's left. I tell everyone I got a retreating hairline. I don't have a receding hairline. It just decided to run.
I won't say it on this, I'll tell you later, but there was one thing I said to one guy and he nearly went berserk, but I won't say it here. At my reply, he wasn't happy with my reply. I'll tell you later.
Dr. Strange gear. Look at that lettering.
I think what's gonna annoy the heck out of you all is that my hair is never gonna go away. My father still got all of his hair, right? And it's just not gonna go anywhere.
My father-in-law
we are who we
has
are.
had cancer and cancer treatment 4 times. And the last time he did, he's very old and he's on his way out, unfortunately, at the moment. But he had more cancer treatment and all his hair fell out, and now it's back, and it's all white, but it's thicker than it's just so thick. He's just got this big thick mop of hair on the top of his head, and I'm like, how does that work?
Well, that's the same with my father-in-law. I told you he's 100 in September. He's still got all his hair.
Yeah, it's just genetics.
And I mean, he's still got all his hair.
Some people are like that. Although I can grow a beard in a matter of seconds. And some people can't. It's
like
just
like a chia pet.
Yeah, it's just like, whoop, there it is. I'm like one of those, one of those plasticine barbershops where they put the little model on the chair and they press the plasticine in and it all shoots out the top of their head.
Right.
Well, I'm like that with my beard, but I've got no holes on the top of my head anymore.
And thus the legend of Sasquatch was born.
I can relate because I'm basically Sasquatch.
I am Sasquatch,
and you're up in the north too. So yeah.
You've
probably been mistaken for one at one point or another.
Yeah,
just walk around your cabin naked and see what happens. Yeah, outside.
No one will see your skin because you're so hairy.
I'm covered head to toe in hair. It's ridiculous. To be
Excellent.
Look at that. Speaking of
bare-chested bear wrestler, or whatever it was. There was a comic, wasn't there?
Bare-chested,
naked-chested bear wrestler or something. I don't know.
Boris the bear. What?
No, it wasn't that. No, it's far more recent.
My hair's already going gray, and I'm going to be senile by 30. Well, welcome to the club.
Yeah. Just stop whinging about it.
Yeah. Embrace the senility. That's what you have to do. It gives you an excuse to do all sorts of stuff.
You can be curmudgeonal.
Yeah.
That's a new. I think that's a new adjective. Curmudgeonal. I like that.
Wife says I'm already there. Toth got a car action like no other, and at the time it was done. Yeah. At that time it was done.
It's kind of a shame that we didn't do the Tarzan stuff, because as soon as the apes came in, I'd be like, that's my people.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Yeah.
I am the hairy people.
Dashboard with just a couple of blotches right there. Beautifully done. Bet.
Is that Aunt May pouring that stuff in that petrol cap?
It's an old mad scientist mechanic. Dude.
This is so cool. Look at the lines on the mouth.
Yeah.
This is brilliant.
No teeth. Love that. Automatic start, even back then.
I'm not sure
strange gear.
If you guys are familiar with it, but this kind of reminds me of this particular panel of an art book. I think it was for kids back in the day, and I cannot for the life of me remember much about the details, but it was all this like chemistry stuff and like monsters, and it was like in a similar kind of style of drawing with like beakers and monsters would be coming out of the beakers, and it just looked really strange and similar art to those car magazine stuff.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping somebody would know, but
So,
unfortunately,
all no gray tones, no zipatone use here. It's all lines, all thin lines.
Yeah.
Just beautifully done. Backgrounds, cross hatching.
Isn't that the way of it though? Like something that nostalgia wise, you get something that's really important to you. You're like, and you want to remember what it is, but you just can't.
It's called old age.
I stopped trying to remember, and I just went out and bought a whole set of Captain Britain's.
Yeah,
there you go.
It didn't matter they were ripped up. It didn't matter. It's just to have them.
It's a good thing you got him now too, because you're going to bring him into the MCU.
Oh, they'll ruin him.
And all of those.
They'll probably that probably won't even be a him. To be honest, they'll probably just go straight to Betsy Braddock.
No, they're talking to Cavill last time.
Oh, Cavill would be an excellent Brian Braddock. Yes, I'd love that. But I still have no faith that they're going to do anything good anymore.
Well, they're collecting an English Avengers team at the end of Secret Invasion. So
look at that.
But nobody watched it, so nobody knows.
No, yeah, nobody knows. It's coming, but it's it might not ever get here at this rate. But they've got Black Knight. Dane Whitman's already in there, and Captain Britain's coming. Not sure about Megan or which of the X-Men there, if they're used Nightcrawler and Shadowcat at all, but we'll have to see. Or not. Success story.
I was just thinking, like the movement and stuff on that dude in the little on the penny board, is just fantastic.
Yeah, the lean, it's amazing.
I have a skateboard like that. The company made them. Well, they used to make them like that, but they also made a company kept producing them called Penny, and they basically
penny boards.
Yeah.
I always knew them as skateboards. They used to be old roller skates.
What's the title? What's the title saying? Because it says on there, it's crossed the letters out. It's got UE Tory. What does it? I don't understand what that means.
Where are you talking? Up here?
Yeah.
This is success story. Yeah. But the S's are dollar signs and the C's are cent signs.
Oh yeah. Yeah, got it.
So they got double lines, through the S.
I thought they were trying to say something else.
No.
Without those letters. Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
He's just being, showing the greed there.
My bad, as they say.
It's all right.
It does.
Culture. Yeah, they don't work.
Yeah.
Like found something he did wrong.
If it was strange looking L's, you'd know exactly. Yeah.
I mean, if it was instead of just a line over it, but like a line through it, it'd probably make more sense visually.
Yeah.
Yeah, if the outline of the S, say, went all the way out to the extensions of the lines, and there wasn't a black line, I think it would have worked better. Yeah,
that was originally a distinction for U.S. currency. The two lines used to be connected on the bottom, so it was U.S. But they knocked that bottom set off pretty quick and just did the S with the two lines.
We've got to find something to criticize.
Say what?
Yeah,
we've got to find something to criticize. We can't just sit here the whole way through and go, that's it. Well, that's the whole critic.
What amazes me here, you get this look that you get this look here from the way that he did the stars and the way that he does this path, that it's a flat plane going out and then another plane coming up here.
Yes.
That's just amazing to me. Just incredibly well done with just a few simple stars laying here in the right perspective.
Just for the record, we didn't mention it, but I didn't rate the artwork on the previous story. It wasn't as good. Just something. Just something about it I don't like.
Probably done faster.
Yeah.
Done in a hurry.
Knocking it out.
We're back to silhouette. Yeah, that's the point of this whole thing. He's sitting here just knocking this stuff out. I'm sure it wasn't done in a row. He was still doing animation at this point. He's just playing with it. Oh, probably over a weekend. Just here you go. Here's a story.
This dude
Look
with
at
the
this.
pipe.
Look at the simplicity of all of this. Crossing state lines here. Like this old driver dude. The girl's kissing on him. And then this page.
I'll tell you one reason why he was knocking it out so fast, because if you look in the introduction, he was getting $50 a page.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. That's current rates.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say back in those days, that was probably your rent and water bill.
Well,
especially living in California, he was probably paying his bills with this. And
I just did an inflation thing, and $50 in 1962 or whenever this was made is $500 now.
Well, there you go, $500 a page. You don't get that now.
So I bet he's doing 4 pages a day.
Yeah,
I did encounter somebody recently that wanted 500 a page. I'm like, what are you insane?
You should have said, "Why are you Alex Toth?"
I said, "Good luck."
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, you just can't command those kind of sums anymore. I mean, it's got to be. I've never been a fan of getting paid back end. But mostly because back end payments tend to be after the publisher has taken all their slice, and then they tell you how much they've made, and then you only get a percentage of that, and that doesn't work for me. I'm afraid not now. We're living in an environment where we can do things like crowdfunding and get out, and you only need, at the end of the day, to make, if you can pump out 2 to 3 graphic novels a year and get somewhere between 200 and 500 customers, regular customers, you're making a good salary. Yeah. Even if you're sharing that with a writer, you're making a reasonable amount. So, it's like back end deals don't but at the same time, if you're going to team up with people, you can't expect people to just say, "Oh, I've got an idea, I'm going to pay you $500 a page to make it happen." That's just ridiculous. That everybody's got to have a certain amount of sweat equity. That's what happens with when you get investors involved in your business. They need to see that you're risking something before they just chuck money at you.
That's right. Yeah.
And it works the same with partnerships on doing comic books.
On anything. But
artists shouldn't be expected to just do stuff because they need to live. Okay, but at the same time, if you're working with someone, then sweat equity is involved, and you have to have a little bit of pain in there to make it work.
There's some artists that get through illustrations and other artwork, and they get the one piece of artwork for whatever people want to use it for commercial reasons, and they get 500, 200, 300, 400, whatever, but then they don't do comics, right? But if you and they're unaware of it, of the price things, then you encounter a comic book artist, and then you get $100 a page, 50, 60, 70, 80 a page. What it taught me recently is that I'm never ever going to an illustrator again when I can just pay a comic book artist for a cover.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds kind of like almost harsh on the comic book artist, but it's the truth. Unfortunately, it's like however much we as artists like it or dislike it, there is a market, and it's like when you're selling a house. You think, "Oh, my house is worth £1 million." It's like, well, no one's going to buy it for £1 million. You can put it up on the market for £1 million if you like, but people are only going to buy it for 450. Okay, because that's the market, and it's a terrible situation, but there is some relevance to that. That said, individual productions, individual publishers, writers, creators, whatever, know that they can attract a certain market. So if they have a bigger market than the next person, so for instance, my market, I'm looking at somewhere between 200 and 500 people as customers. I would be really pleased if I could get to 500 customers for a book. That would just blow me away. All right. I'm just hovering up at the high 200s, and I'm happy with that. But it'd be great to make more. But someone like, I don't know, someone like Snyder, or even on the other side, someone like, you know, Rippaverse or whatever, they know that they have a large market. Okay. So that when somebody turns up, when they say, I'm going to invest in this artist and I'm going to get them to come and, you know, draw my books, they can afford to provide the higher page rate. Mm-hmm. So it isn't just about the general market and about the fact that rates are low. It's also about specific markets and specific products. Mm-hmm. I know it's like football teams. I'm gonna cross over here just quickly. So people talk about the women's football team and why don't they get paid as much as the men's football team? But that's exactly the same as why don't men's teams in the lower divisions in the UK get paid the same as people in the Premiership? Because there's much more money involved in Premiership games. So their wages are higher. It's pro rata. That's all it comes down to. If you've got a bigger market, if you've got more people buying, it means that you've got more money for production to pay wages.
The women's footballers actually get paid more, don't they, percentage wise?
I think with the American team, pro rata, it was. But my point is, it's not about who's doing the job. You can't say everybody who does this job must get paid the same wage. Okay, especially when we're talking about freelance markets. No. Certain people are going to attract more attention and are going to attract more money, more market, more customers. So they will be able to pay the people involved with them more money. Okay, the bigger your market, the more customers you've got, the more money there is to filter around a production team. Okay, it pretty much is as simple as that. That's why, you know, top artists don't get paid the same as top actors in Hollywood, because Hollywood films make billions. Okay. Or hundreds of millions or whatever, and comics make tens of thousands. That's the difference. That's what it comes down to.
My market is almost non-existent, Vic says. Text outside of the panel is so much better than boxes like the Spanish and Italians doing.
I love
much of that in the 70s.
Text outside. It's just lovely.
That's tasteful stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Randy, is Toth writing this book?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yep, I believe he's doing all of the work here.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not going to get the same rate as Mike Gustovich. I don't know, Vic.
No, exactly. You know, we're not going to get the same rate as Jim Lee.
Look at that.
Okay, but then there's always that possibility that you make a book, okay, with your own style and your own writing, and it hits it gets viral, and suddenly you've got 10,000 customers, and suddenly you've made a better page rate than Jim Lee did on his last book.
Yep.
It's all about markets and proportions.
It is.
Very, very strange in the 3D market as well. Like, not necessarily related to comics, but you get people interested in my stuff because I guess I advertise fairly well. I get interest, but as soon as I mention my price, about 80% of the customers just, you know, they just disappear, and they're like, "Oh, this guy does it for $50." It's like, if he could go ahead, do it for $50 because he's not making any money, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that guy might be doing it for $50, but if he continues to do it for $50, he ain't going to be doing it forever. He's not going to be around long enough for you to use him as a reliable source.
Yep.
You've got to pay people a decent wage, or decent.
Yeah, I'll tell you something else people miss as well. They think that if you spend 5 minutes on something, as good as it may be, they only want to pay you for 5 minutes.
Right.
Do you understand what I mean?
They don't want to pay you for the years and years you've.
They don't want to pay you for your talent or whatever. They think, oh, you'll just knock that out in 5 minutes, so I'll give you £5.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean? But if it takes a week, they'll give you £500.
That's why it's important never to get people to pay you for time.
Exactly.
And why the whole argument about, my page takes longer than your page, so I need to get more money.
It's important to tell people not how long it takes you.
No, don't tell them.
Because they'll say, well, I'm only paying you for the day, which is £100. Yeah.
And it does come down to, I mean, I know that pro rata, the stuff that I'm doing at the moment, unless there's some kind of, you always keep your fingers crossed, some kind of viral thing where there's 10,000 people want to buy the book. Okay, my page rate's going down radically by me putting more into the page.
Yeah,
it's just the way it is. But those are the projects. You choose what you're going to do and you stick to them, and see what happens next time.
Yep. Same page.
It's
right?
like hiring a plumber. You're not going to pay a plumber for a minimum wage for a day.
No, you're not going to pay him to draw your page either.
That's true.
Yeah. Look at this splash page.
Look
at the end of the story. This full page, zooming out, putting the dialogue over
Look
here
at the just the movement there. That's just
amazing.
Room. You got love of a room.
And all the crowd as well,
top,
on that top tier.
Yep.
Where they're hanging over the edges and everything. It's fantastic, isn't it?
The sign down here. Swingers fond of Billy Bond, or for president of everything. Billy Bond's the guy responsible for making the course. Yeah.
And again, just like where he's just how simple those panels are on the left. He's just like thrown that on the page.
Yeah. One more story, then we'll call it.
Okay.
We're probably going to have to do another episode on this one. Anyway.
How many more?
Pages.
171 pages. Good Lord.
And we're only on 49. So, well, we're moving at a faster clip than what we were with Watchmen.
Whereas, I mean, they are simpler pages than the Watchmen pages. So.
Yep. Look at that. That's great. The lighting here, silhouette.
I love those heavy lines he puts around.
Yeah.
You know, really nice and
hard shadow.
That's
knowing
very harsh.
Thick and thin. How to use black spaces here. Yeah. Little bit of quick white paint probably.
Yeah. That thing, that monster up the top right, is that some kind of narrator?
Yeah, that's Ratfink.
That is Ratfink, right? Okay.
It's not. Well, that's probably his mutation of Big Daddy Roth. More than that, Ratfink's really just a rat with a RF on his t-shirt. Yeah,
like Roland Rat. Yeah.
How bad was that?
Is that Harry the
Roland Rat?
Yeah,
with cars. There's a car.
The Americans won't understand. Our Atlantic cousins won't understand about Roland Rat.
Which is a good thing, really.
Which is a good thing. I mean, it's a very British. I mean, you look back at it, it's a very British thing, isn't it? Roland Rat.
Yeah.
Roland Rat, yeah. Or Rishi Rat. Rishi looks a bit like our current Prime Minister, God bless him, Governor.
Yeah.
He looks a bit like Roland Rat. It's funny. He's got big teeth and stuff. Yeah, Roland Rat. And being a politician as well, rats, you know.
Yeah, do that. It says do that. I don't speak tea and biscuits. Sorry.
I don't speak tea and biscuits. You got to know what a crumpet is.
No borders on panels. It's so tasteful. Mad artist did that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just knocked out here. Use of negative space. When you're kicking it out in a hurry, here we go. Yep. Those aren't biscuits, by the way. Those are cookies. But anyway.
Cookies aren't biscuits, no. They're cakes.
I was actually just looking for a meme about England that I saw recently. But don't. That was funny. I gotta find it though.
Look at all the car parts. Should we go one more?
If you want to.
Where we're at the 1 and 30. The 1:28 mark.
Yeah. We should cut it there.
Yeah.
Because we've got something else to do, haven't we? So.
Yeah, we got a little more to go here. And there's like I said, there's 171 pages. It's all
We'll come back and take it at our leisure. We'll do three episodes on this, I think.
Oh, let's hope not. Yeah.
Well, if it's 180 pages and we've only done 55.
Yes, he kicks out the duo shade on the next story like you wouldn't believe. All right. Well,
come back next week.
Let's come back.
Same bat channel, same bat place.
Come back next week for part 2. Let's hope we don't spend a month on this book. There's so much other stuff to go through.
Well,
Oh.
we're not going anywhere.
Well, we'll mark it there. Yeah. We'll mark it there. I was Toth, one for the road. We'll be back next week with another segment, whether it goes 2 more segments. I don't know. We'll see. At our rate, probably we'll get to talking about who knows what.
Yeah.
After an hour and a half, rewatchability dies.
We should take Vic at his word, at their word. Yes.
Yeah.
And say,
okay.
Yes. An hour and a half.
All right. Next week, folks. Next week, 5 a.m. We'll be here talking more Toth. So
more Toth.
Hope you'll join us then. We deeply appreciate you being here. Thanks for the love. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for listening in. Thanks for catching us archived over in the Indie Comics Network.
Mm-hmm.
So there's all sorts of greatness over there, more channels than just ours. So come back Sunday at 9 a.m. We'll have an episode of Sunday Funnies here, where we'll talk about stuff off the spinner rack. And next Friday, more Toth. So didn't have time to talk about the spider stuff. Or
next Sunday one is pre-recorded, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so there's not going to be much. Well, they're going to find out anyways.
Yeah, well, the chat will still be live. It's just we won't be reading from the chat. The chat's welcome as long as they mind their manners. Somebody will be in there.
Yeah.
Peace out, says Vic. Thank you so much, Vic. Toth Hour. Yeah.
Cheers, Vic. Yeah.
Thanks, HR, for being here. Thanks, Vic, for being here in the chat. Deeply appreciate you being here. Whiskey, tell folks how they can find you.
I had nothing prepared for this, but you can find me at Twitter at Bandit Ricochet. Just type that into Google. Twitter should come up, or just Twitter, or the new X, or whatever they call it. You can find me there. I do 3D models. If you want something made for your comic book characters, action figures, models, miniatures, whatever, just send me a message and I'll get you hooked up.
All right, Russ, tell folks how they can find you.
I draw comics, me. You can find me at russleach.com. All my social media connections are there. I have an image out every day on Instagram, archived a brand new. Take a look at what I'm doing. You can find my email list, and please do sign up because there's a whole bunch of new stuff coming over at russleach.com. And you can also find connections, network connections to things like my books, Only Death Can Save Us, over at Amazon and Barnes & Noble, all good booksellers. And I do believe they're coming to Magster as well, so you can get online versions of them that are slightly cheaper. You can find all about that at russleach.com.
Sweet. Glenn, tell folks how they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me on the usual places like Facebook and Twitter and stuff like that.
Sorry about that.
It's okay.
There you are.
And you can also find my work. I've got 11 books on Amazon and lots of magazines and things that I write and produce and all this kind of thing. On Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Waterstones, now you can get this, which is a book about my visits to see Jack Kirby at his house back in the late 80s, early 90s. If you want a DVD of watch me talking with him, you can get that directly from me. These are published by New Haven. This is my latest book, which is a football book, nothing to do with this channel, but there you go. You can get all that stuff on Amazon. Just put my name in Google and you'll find all kinds of things.
All kinds of stuff.
All kinds of stuff.
Folks, I've been your host, Randy Zimmerman. You can find me over at aerocomics.store, where you can find books like Paragon, which is a superhero story that I wrote with art by H.R. Harris. It's kind of like Superman in modern times. HeroBot Zero, which is a 3-foot-tall giant robot that I created and did most of the artwork on in this issue. There are 2 issues available of that. It's a 3-foot-tall giant robot fighting large monsters, defending his city and from other menaces, as long as he can do it on the clock and get time and a half for overtime. Also, Calico Shard, it's over there as well, a fantasy book that I just love doing. I'm going to get back to it here within the next couple of weeks with artwork by C. Michael Lanning. That's aerocomics.store, real easy to remember. And while you're over there, take a look at the other products that are available. Soul Tax available over there. Fool number 1 ought to be up there very shortly. The Fool number 1 was a crowdfunding campaign of another urban vigilante that I created, who's a little weird. He goes around, fights street crime using practical joke weapons, and anybody he captures for the authorities, he takes a section of their clothing and incorporates it into his action duds. Didn't put my sheet up again. I got to remember to do that one of these years. Anyway,
get your sheet together.
Everybody says they love the clutter anyway, so hey, whatever.
Get your sheet together, Andy.
Get my sheet together, my shite. Yeah. All right, folks, deeply, again, thank you so much for being here. If you like this program and you think someone else will enjoy it as well, tell them about it.
Yeah.
We can always use more folks, more eyes. And we love folks watching us whenever they can, as we're archived over on the Indie Comics Network. Russ's channel as well has us archived over there. The Randy Zim YouTube channel, it has us archived there as well. So enjoy us to your heart's content. You know, and we'll be back next week with more Toth. Apparently, I thought we'd go through this whole book in a day or in one episode. But that's just,
we veer off to lizard people and hairy people and all kinds of stuff, and you know, that's the fun of the journey.
It is. Hope you had fun, folks. We'll talk to you soon. See you next Friday.
See ya.
Here on Comics
by
Night. We're gonna go out with a few bumps, not very many, and then we'll see you soon.
Remember, kids, folks, if you're hating, you ain't creating.
If you're hating, you ain't creating. Try to have try to leave this industry in better shape than what you found it. And good luck, everybody. We're all pulling for you, right, Whiskey?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The women can't find you handsome. At least they can find you handy. Exactly.
Do you draw the Flintstones naked? There's a market for that.
The views and opinions expressed within the video content found on the Indie Comics Network are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Indie Comics Network or its sponsors.
That took a minute to catch up.
Question or comment for us to address on the show? Have a topic you want us to talk about? Email us at indiecomicsnetwork@gmail.com. Want your comics to arrive in pristine condition? Head over to GeminiComicSupply.com and save 10% on your next Gemini mailer order or anything in the Gemini Comics Supply store. Use coupon code RAGIN10. That's RAGIN 10.
What was that? This is not a charade. We need total concentration. Now, once again, this time, with theory.
Some men just want to watch the world burn.
Can't nobody tell me nothing.
How dare you?
Get off my lawn.
And who's your favorite Marvel Comics hero? Mine is Superman. Remember the motto? With great power comes great responsibility.